Hello, English 11 students, and welcome to the Quarter 2, Week 10, Day 1 video. This video is designed for those students who were absent from our live Zoom class. The first thing you'll need to do is click on the Week 10 assignment on Canvas. As a reminder, everything you say, do, or type is recorded, so please keep it school appropriate. And as always, there's no saving, downloading, or taking pictures of our class today or ever. All right, our agenda for this week is to work on the Week 10 assignment. There are two parts to this assignment, and I'll go over both of those in this video. So the first thing, when you go to the English 11 homepage and you click on this week's dates, you should see the assignment that says Week 10 assignment. Please go ahead and open that up. You can pause the video here, have that open, and then hit resume when you're ready. Okay. So if you take a look at this assignment, right, it's very similar to what we did last week, right? There are two parts. The first part asks you to view these two charts in the gun violence statistics box, right? There's this chart here, which is the firearm-related homicides or murders, right, from 2007, and the numbers arranged by state. And then the steady rise of U.S. gun deaths, all of the deaths related to guns in the United States. And that chart goes from 1999 to 2017. Once you've taken a look at those two charts, you're going to choose any of these three questions to write a response to in the free write response box, just like we did last week. Your 5 options are: what is your initial reaction to viewing the charts and why? Looking at the first chart, why do you think there's such a big difference between Minnesota and Maryland's firearm-related homicides? Looking at the second chart, why do you think the number of gun-related deaths has gone up so steeply or so much? Number 4, what is one piece of information about gun-related deaths that you want to know more about and why? And then number 5, what are your feelings on gun control? What experiences or stories have led you to feel the way that you do? So again, you're not going to answer all 5 of these. You can if you'd like, right? But you're only being asked to answer 3 of them. So pick 3 that appeal the most to you, and then write your answers on the right-hand side. Remember to capitalize the beginning of your sentence, right? The first letter of that first word, and remember to put a period at the end of your sentences. Please pause the video here, work on that activity for about 15 minutes, and then hit resume when you're ready. Okay, so now that you've completed part 1, right, there's a shortened class period, so this is why this is here. You can just ignore that for now. Let's move on to day 2 when we go to part 2 of the assignment. Here's part 1. Okay, part 2. So again, it's the same setup as the previous excerpts, right? The excerpt is on the left-hand side. If you want the computer to read the excerpt to you, right, I would suggest you use that Google Read and Write app. And then on the right-hand side, you have 6 passage questions with a space under each question for you to put in your answer. There is one new question type that we're going to talk about, and that's this one here. And I'll come back to that in a second. So if you take a look at each of these questions, first, number 1. It says, consider how Mather, the author of this article, let me go back a second. You're going to read this article that was published in the Washington Post, and it was called To the Mother of the Gunshot Victim I Couldn't Save by Jacques Mather. If you take a look at this information here, right, Jacques Mather is a trauma surgeon at the University of Maryland Prince George's Hospital Center and the R. Adams Crowley Shock Trauma Center. So this is a doctor who deals with gunshot victims all the time, and he wrote kind of an opinion piece. Okay, let's try this again. Number 1, consider how Mather, the author, describes himself in the excerpt in bold red. List 2 adjectives you would use to describe him, and then which quotes would you use to support your answers? Please make sure you're using 2 adjectives and 2 quotes. Number 2 is the new type of question. It says, consider Mather's use of vocabulary, which is highlighted in yellow. Select 3 of these words to define. Then briefly explain why you think Mather chose those words instead of another word in each sentence. To click, if it says here, like click here for a sample, if you click on that, it'll take you to the bookmark, which is at the very bottom of your document. I'm going to give you an example. So I did this one in green, right? But all the other ones that you'll be working with are highlighted in yellow. So Mather writes, extremes in frustration threaten to breed hopelessness and worse, a sense of apathy. The word apathy means lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. I think the author chose the word apathy instead of boring because he isn't talking about not feeling emotions. He's talking about feeling extreme emotions so much that he gets exhausted and loses his energy to care about gun violence. So this is what I'm asking that you do, right? First, define the word. And if you're on a Chromebook, the easy way to do that is to two-finger click or to right-click on the word that's highlighted and then click define, and it'll show up on the right-hand side. And then after you've copied and pasted the definition, then you write in why you think the author used that word instead of another one, right? Why was that word so important? Question number 3. What does the mother's rhetorical question and Mather's response say about gun violence in the United States? Number 4. The author writes that the sadness filled the shrinking room as though I were watching an explosion with the sound muted. Explain the simile here. What two things are being compared and how are they similar? Number 5. What does the author mean when he says, but so long as there are guns, innocent people will fall victim to them? Refusing to acknowledge this is tantamount to acquiescence. If you don't know what a word means, two-finger click or right click on the word and click define, and it'll help you figure out part of what Mather is trying to communicate here. And then number 6, what is one phrase or sentence within this excerpt that you find powerful, persuasive, or beautiful, and why? Remember to copy and paste the quote and then give your answer. Also remember that every time you use a quote from the story, you have to put the author's last name in parentheses at the end of your sentence, just like you see in the example and just like you see in questions number 4 and 5. Okay. This work for this week, it needs to be submitted before 3 p.m. on Saturday. If you have any questions, if you need help or just want to go through stuff, right, Dr. Smith, Ms. Deal, and I are available every day. Make sure that you're using the student support Zoom link, and we're available from 2:45 to 3:15 every day. Wednesday is a strange day because of the inauguration, so these times won't be available, but if you do need to get a hold of us, you can just send us an email. Thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in class soon.